Welcome back. In the earlier lecture, we learned the lexical structure of a Python program. In this video, we are going to talk about the Python decision control statement, the if-else statement. The if-else is not a new thing for programmer. I'm assuming that you already know it from your earlier programming experience. However, let me go through it once again. At times, while writing your code, you need to make individual decisions. And based on your decisions, it will execute the next block of code. For this purpose, we have something known as decisional, or in general, the if-else statements. These statements decide the direction of flow for the execution of a program. Python supports the following forms of the if-else statement. Here is the most basic form of the if statement. We start with the if keyword. Then we have a specific condition. And finally, a colon to mark the end of the condition. If the condition is true, Python is going to execute the block of code under the if statement. Let me show you an example. So, the value of a is greater than 0, right? Do you see the indentation under the if block? This is how we create a block of statements in Python. And we already learned it in the earlier lecture, right? So, the indentation below the if statement identifies the statements to execute if the condition is true. The last line is outside the if block, and hence it is going to be executed irrespective of the condition. Let me execute it. The outcome is as expected, right? Let me change the condition to make sure it evaluates to false and rerun the example. What output do you expect? Only this last print statement should be evaluated, right? Let me try it. Good, as expected. I want to highlight one more thing here. In most other languages, you must specify your condition inside parentheses. But in Python, it is optional. Now, the second form of the if statement comes with an else keyword. Here is an example. So, when the condition is true, Python is going to execute the first block. And if the condition evaluates to false, it is going to run the second block. And the last line or anything below this block will execute anyway, right? You can try this example with a positive and negative values. So, let me change the value of a to -3 and see what happens. Now, the condition becomes false. And the else block of code is executed. Simple, isn't it? Now, what if you want to have a condition 2 inside a condition 1? I mean, what if you have multiple conditions inside a condition? Like any other language, Python also allows you to nest the if-else expression. Here is a simple example. If a is greater than 0, it is a positive number. But if a is less than or equal to 0, then if condition fails. In the else block, we are nesting another if statement to check if a is equal to 0. Else, it should be a negative number. Simple, isn't it? Nesting of if and else is going to be okay for 1 or 2 levels. However, if you have a bunch of conditions to test, then your nested if-else could become clumsy and might look like an ugly code. So, Python also allows you to use the elif ladder. Here is the same example rewritten using elif. it checks the first condition for a greater than 0. If the condition is true, the statement under the block is executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it checks the second condition, and again if the condition is true, the statement under the block is executed. Even if this condition is false, the statement under the else block is executed. And this one definitely looks more delicate compared to the earlier code, right? Great. That's all for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Keep learning and keep growing.